Shalom, everyone. We are here on a special gathering of believers of Yahuah and YAHUSHA, especially here in the Philippines. And we have our brother also from USA, Brother Steve. We have just read Yadah YAHUAH, chapter 11, verses 11 to 16 with Sister Sarah about Yahuah. Now we will be reading with Brother Junicio, Yadah YAHUAH 23, verses 7 to 8. Salamat po. Please, Brother Junicio, can you read it? After you will be Brother Kasad Yahuah. Please read for
23.
us Revelation 21, verses 1 to 4, verse 10 to 12. Let's hear Brother Junicio.
Okay po. Yadah YAHUAH 23, chapter 23, 7 to 8. Therefore, say, the days are coming, declares Yahuwah, when thee shall say no more, as Yahuwah lives, who brought up the children of Yisrael out of the land of Mitzrayim. But as Yahuwah lives, who brought up and lead the seed of the house of Yisrael out of the land of the north and from the lands where I had driven them, and they shall dwell on own land. Yadah YAHUAH. Only that, Brother Dan? Up to
Yes,
it only.
until there. Thank you very much, Brother Dionisio. This time, we will be asking Brother Casadio or Brother Pio to read to us Revelation 21, verses 1 to 4, then verse 10 to 12. Then after you will be Sister Corazon will read Yadah YAHUAH 55, verse 12. Okay, Brother Casadio, please read.
Okay, Shalom. Revelation chapter 21, verses 1 to 4 and 10 to 12. And I saw a renewed Shamayam and a renewed Arats. For the former Shamayam and the former Arats had passed away, and the sea is no more. And I, Yahukhanan, saw the Kodesh city, renewed Jerusalem, coming down out of the Shamayam from Aluah, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from the Shamayam saying, See, the boat of Aluah is with men, and he shall dwell with them, and they shall be his people. And Aluah himself shall be with them, and be their Aluah. And Aluah shall wipe away every tear from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, nor mourning, nor crying, and there shall be no more pain, for the former have passed away. Okay, jump to 10 to 12. And he carried me away in the rook to a great and high mountain, and showed me the great city, the Kodesh Jerusalem, descending out of the Shamayam from Aluah, having the stamp of Aluah, and her light was like a most precious stone, like a jasper stone, clear as crystal. 12. And having a great and high wall, having 12 gates, and at the gates 12 messengers, and names written on them, which are of the 12 tribes of the children of Yasharal. Hallelujah, Yahuwah.
Yadah YAHUAH will
Hallelujah.
have
Hallelujah.
Sister Abba
Yahuwah.
YAHUAH reading from Yeshayahu 55 verse 12. And after you will be Brother Yazariel, Brother exactly, back to Revelation 21, uh, verse 21, and then Revelation 22, verses 1 and 2, and then Revelation chapter 2, verse 9. Go ahead, Sister Corazon.
Yeshayahu 55, verse 12. For with joy you go out, and with peace you are brought in. The mountains and the hills break forth into singing before you, and all the trees of the field clap the hands. Yadah YAHUAH.
Yadah YAHUAH. The last will be Brother Yazario. Please read to us your assigned reading.
Okay, I'll be reading Chazon or Revelation chapter 21, verse 21, and the following verses. Chazon or Revelation 21:21, it says,
Verse 21 and then 22 verses 1 to 1 and 2.
okay, and the 12 gates were 12 pearls. Each one of the gates was a single pearl, and the street of the city was clean gold, like a transparent glass. And I saw no 21, okay. Chapter 22, verse 1 and 2.
1 and 2.
Showed me a river of water of Chaya, clear as crystals, coming from the throne of Yahuwah and of the Lamb. Verse 2. In the middle of its street and on either sides of the river was the tree of Chaya, which bore 12 fruits, each tree yielding its fruits every month. And the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. Chapter 2, verse 9 says, chapter 2, verse 9. I know your works and
Okay, sorry,
pressure.
Brad. Verse 29. Okay. 2 verse 29.
Okay, sorry. 2:29. He who has an ear, let him hear what the Rook says to the assemblies. Yadah YAHUAH.
Yadah YAHUAH. Any volunteer to read for us? Genesis will be the last passage. Genesis 15 verses 13 to 14.
13, 14. Sige,
Yes,
Brad.
Genesis 15, 13 to 14. Then the
Okay.
last will be Acts 7, verses 7 to 8.
Genesis, Bereshit 15, verse 13 to 14. It says, and he said to Abraham, know that certain that your seed are to be sojourn in a land that is not therein, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. Ano yung isa, Brad? Acts?
Acts chapter 7, verses 3 to 8. That will be the last. Acts chapter
Sige,
7,
Brad. Iba na lang. Sa iba naman, sa iba
verses
naman.
3 to 8.
Yung iba naman po, kung ano.
Oh, anyone would like to volunteer to read? That will be the last. Acts chapter 7, verses 3 to 8.
Brother Dan, can I?
Opo, go ahead. Thank you very much.
Okay, Acts 7 verses 3 to 8. And said to him, come out of your land and from your relatives and come here into the land that I shall show you. Then he came out of the land of the Kasdites and dwelt in Haran. And from there, after the death of his father, he removed him to this land in which you now dwell. And he gave him no inheritance in it, not a foot of it, but he promised to give it to him for a possession and to his seed after him, when as yet he had no child. And Elohim spoke in this way that his seed would be sojourning in a foreign land, and that they would be enslaved and mistreated 400 years. And the nation to whom they shall be enslaved, I shall judge, said Elohim, and after that they shall come out and serve me in this place. And he gave him the covenant of circumcision, and so he brought forth Yitzchak and circumcised him on the 8th day, and Yitzchak, Jacob, and Jacob, the 12 ancestors. Hallelujah.
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 Yadah
Hallelujah.
Yadah Yahuah. Brothers
Mm.
and sisters, we have heard from the reading story of Yasharal, and we have refreshed our mind as to what the prophets have said uh, about the past, even the present, and even the future. So right now, we would like to inform everyone that this gathering that we are having now is we are giving honor and praise to our Almighty Father. We have here our brother who can tell us his story and tell us what Abba YAHUAH has put in his heart. And we people of Abba YAHUAH here in the Philippines may hear what the Ruach or Rook will say to each and every one of us. So we give now the full time to hear and share what Abba YAHUAH has laid in his heart with Brother Steve with us. Brother, you just tell us about your name, tell us more, and then share whatever Abba has placed in your heart, and people of Abba here in the Philippines will hear.
Hallelujah. Praise be to Abba Yah. We thank him. We give him all the honor and give him all the kabod, because it's only him that we breathe and have our being. We live and bring and have our being. And I honor you all for your dedication and steadfastness, fastness, and faith and strength. That you stand with him and stand for what is truth. Not many are standing for the truth anymore. And I want to read a scripture again before we start. I'm going to read in Yirmiyahu, in chapter 30, and starting at verse 18. I give you some time if you want to get there. So that's Yirmiyahu chapter 30, starting at verse 18 and to the finish. Okay, and it reads as follows. So it says, "Thus says Yahuwah, behold, I will bring again the captivity of Yaakov's tent and have mercy on his dwelling places. And the city shall be built upon her own heap, and the palace shall remain after the manner thereof. And out of them shall proceed thanksgiving and the voice of them that make merry. And I will multiply them, and they shall not be few. I will also glorify them, and they shall not be small.
Wow.
Their children also shall be as an aforetime, and their assembly shall be established before me. And I will punish all that oppress them, and their nobles shall be of themselves, and their governors shall proceed from the midst of them. And I will cause him to draw near, and he shall approach unto me. For who is this that engageth his heart to approach upon me, says Yahuwah. And yea, and ye shall be my people, and I will be your Elohim. Behold, the whirlwind of Yahuwah goeth forth with fury, a continuing whirlwind. It shall fall with pain upon the heads of the wicked. The fierce anger of Yahuwah shall not return until he hath done it, and until he hath performed the intents of his heart, in the latter days ye shall consider. You know, and so, you know, I again I give thanks to him, and I praise be to Yah's word and to his word, that let it be true. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
And so again, I want to share some, like I said, to share some of my testimony, and how I came to closer grasp of Yahweh. I was born into this faith, but see, I was born into, it's not to us, it's not a faith. It's basically, it's our inheritance. So, and my grandfather, who was considered the monarch of our leadership, and actually we would call him a rabbi. You say rabbi,
Rabbi,
teacher.
yes, Rabbi.
And so the rabbi, yeah, and he would, you know, have his congregation, and he would he stood 10 toes straight down on keeping the Torah, keeping the commandments of Yah, the Shabbat. He was very, you know, and that time, you know, as being young, you think, oh, strict, strict, strict. He's so strict, you know, oh, we can't do this one. That experience when we have made a mistake and asked him, can we go to the soup? Can we go to the store down the street and buy some candy? And we had my cousin. We spent a whole time 1 hour on our knees before Yah. And and grandfather was reading Torah, and we have to sit there with our, we'll never go ask him again to go to the store on the Shabbat, you know, when we were kids. But he was instilling that love, and because of that love and that foundation, that he stood for with us with that. We in that prayer, it was invested prayer in the future. And as a young person, you want to go do your own thing. I run away from I want to run away from this. I don't want to do that. I know we don't, and especially us being, the we knew that we were Yahudi, but we were not accepted uh, as yet simply because of this right here. And so it was very, very difficult, and especially here. So that I'll go talk later on, but I want to share how I came to where I am now. And of all places, Yah sent me to go to know him, to see him, and to see his face, to see the face of the Messiah, to experience a supernatural experience, to be truly born again. To be renewed. If any man be in the Mashyakh, is a new creator, and a creation in me, and it was in the island of the Philippines.
Oh,
He brought
amazing.
me to the islands of the Philippines. Of all places, he brought me there to still my soul and to everything. Even when I went there, I went there because of I joined the military. I became an officer, and we were doing things, that being special forces and going training your special forces in your Rangers, the Philippine Rangers, and all that one, and then fighting. They were fighting in in Mindanao and those areas. And if they told you that Americans wasn't fighting, they're lying. They were lying. We were fighting there, and and I'm not proud of that. And but in the end, when I lost all my friends, I had nothing, and I was still there, and I was losing my mind, and I can hear the prayers of I heard the prayers of my grandfather
Oh.
that was saving me. And I thought I was going to die, and I wanted to kill myself. I did. I wanted to die, and I decided to do it. And what delayed it was funny. It was actually a lot of the Filipino children. They were always, questioning, looking at me, and asking me many things. Kids ask they ask honestly, things honest, and I love it. Why are you browner than I'm brown, and things like that. Why is your hair so colored, and all this one, can we touch it? And all of this one, I was like, I don't know, they said, can we touch your hair? And I was like, oh, go ahead, and all that one, this one, and everything. And then, children are honest, so, you don't get mad about those things. And that helped a lot. That soothed my heart a bit. And Yah would use anything to get to bring you back, bring your attention. And then I was possessed of a demon. And the demon was angry when a person started talking to me. At that time, it was a Christian telling me about Jesus. At that time, I'm like, I don't want to hear that name. I'm like, we don't learn that name and that name. In fact, we were told, before, when I met a rabbi, a Caucasian rabbi, before, when we were, and they told us, even saying that name, Yeshu, they call it Yeshu. Yeah, which is a curse word,
Yeah.
Yeshu.
Yeah, so it's a
And to say that one is a curse, and then demons will get you, and all of that one, you'll be cursed and you'll be killed, and all of that one. And if you open up the Bible, the Christian Bible, you'll be demons will come out and possess you, and they would told us that. So that was stuck in my mind. And this guy was telling me, I meet this guy, and I'm like, hey, who is this little guy? And they said, yeah, we want you to meet him. And he was an Aita. Because he was same color as me. I'm like, what's this person? I'm like, oh, is this American? Oh, this guy. And he said, well, he's kind of short, and I'm like, oh, and he came in, he gave me a hug and said, praise the Lord, brother. I'm like, okay. Well, I said, you Filipino? He said, yeah, I'm an Aita, that tribe. He explained to me. I'm like, wow, we got the same hair, everything. We were talking. And he started talking to me about this Jesus, and I was like, oh, I don't know this, I don't want to hear that, but I'm pretending, And I thought I was telling him everything, so I'm okay, but I was not okay. I was not. I wanted to die. I wanted to kill myself. I was going to commit suicide. I was deciding when I was going to put the bang and put the bottle in my mouth, and it'd be the end of that. I was just saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then after that, I'm just going, pow, I'm going to go in my barracks room, and I'm going to kill myself. I'm done with this. I'm tired of it. I don't want to hurt nobody anymore. I don't want no more violence. I'm tired. So, and then he said, I want to invite you over to our church and stuff. I said, and this stuff, no. And he said, I got a gift for you. And he gave me a Bible, and I was too afraid, but everybody was watching, so pride. So I went, oh, I have to get it. So I touched it, and I was like, because I was thinking, if you touch it, because I was told you touch it, demon's gonna jump on you. So I said, and then I heard something in my spirit talk, and I didn't know it was Yah, but he was tricking me. He said, why don't you ask me to protect you? So I said, in my mind, I said, Yahuwah, Abba YAHUAH, protect me from the magic of the Christian Bible. I just said that one, and that's all I said. And then I touched it. Oh, my God is more powerful than your God. I'm thinking in my mind. So I got it and went, thank you. Are you going to read it? And I went, yes, but I'm lying. I'm not going to read it, and all this one I'm thinking, I'm not going to read it. So it was, first it was just only from Matthew all the way up. And so I was like, okay, so I took it, I brought it to my room, I put it on the shelf. I just threw it up there. And then rainy season started. So there was no engagements of enemy or anything. We just have to sit around and do nothing. But it was very boring, and people kept giving me books. I was reading books, reading novels. I read so many novels. I even read, what do you call those, romantic ladies novels. It was that boring, The rainy season was so terrible, was so long. And then I heard in my ruach, why don't you take that Bible and read it? Yeah, but I touch it. One thing, if I open it, all the demons gonna come out. I'm thinking, they're gonna get me. He said, why don't you make the same prayer? Okay, so I did the same prayer. So Abba YAHUAH protect me from this one. And I opened it and I turned my head, like this, kind of like maybe, woo, it's gonna show. But I look, it's just this is a book. This didn't bother me. Of course, then I started to read, and of course, I read the most important part for me as being a Yahudi, Matthew's 1, chapter 1, verse starting there, the genealogy.
Oh.
I thought it was going to say, oh, Saint Benedictine of the Pope of the Pope, and I'm thinking in my mind, this got to be Catholic stuff.
Mm.
That's what I'm thinking. It's going to be all of these Saint Francis, blah blah of CC and all these things. But no, it's talking about the lineage line of David all the way down to I'm like, what? What? And I was, what is this? And I'm thinking maybe it's a magic. It's trying to make me see what I want to see. So I closed it, and my heart started to race. And then I went, oh no. I thought I reject it. I reject it. If it's a trick. So I opened it, it's the same thing again. So I went, no. And when I read the genealogy, I put it down and I was walking around and I was so angry. I was not angry at the Bible. I was angry because I said, somebody lied to me.
Mm.
You lied to me. They lied to me. This is can't be right. These are all the names of the lineage line, all the way down to David, all the way down. You mean to tell me that this Messiah, he's my relative? He's what? This guy is in the lineage line because I know my lineage line. This man is my relative. How can they, what is going on here? Because then also I began to read. I couldn't put it down.
Oh.
I couldn't put it down. By the time I finished, it's already dark. The room was dark. And then I started again, the whole Bible again. Every time, something new. Never the same. It's something new. It's revealing something new. Every time. It's like the first time, every time I read it was like the first time I read it. And it's not making any sense. That's what's going on here? And so I wasn't confused. I was being renewed. My mind was being like it was being washed from all the poison, all the lies. But then it took about a few days, and then I decided, I said, I want to follow this Messiah. And then when I said that, I was immediately possessed of demon.
Mm.
And the demon told me, I'm going to kill you. I'm the one who protected you in fighting and all of this one. Now I'm going to kill you. And I was possessed of the demon. It made me do things. I would get paralyzed. It would paralyze me in the chair, and then couldn't move, and then it would make me use the bathroom on myself. And it said, I'm going to kill you. And then it would choke me. I couldn't breathe, things like that one, all that one. And the guys would see something wrong with, with Captain, something, because I would be on the corner eating food and chow, and I don't want to be with nobody. And then, no, go away. And this one, they said something wrong with him. Maybe he's getting, he's losing his mind. And then finally, on that one day, I heard he said, "That's it. I'm going to kill you. You're dead." And I felt myself drawing back in me like I was in a prison, and it was and then someone knocked on my door. I was calling, "Help, help, help," but my mouth wasn't moving. And I can hear myself looking out. And then I heard somebody, "Brother Steve, brother," like this one, and it was the Aita and another pastor. They had come. I called help. I guess, yeah, I called them. And they came, and I started speaking to them. My mouth was speaking, but it was speaking in pure Tagalog. Now I learned Tagalog now, but at that time I did it, and they knew this guy don't know. He said, and immediately the pastor said, "Sino ka?" And of course, the one said, "Hindi ko alam." He knew then already. And he would begin to rebuke the creatures out of me. And I was freed. It came out and I saw it and I pointed and I said, it's over there, it's over there. I pointed and they looked there and said, you're not wanted here. Get out, cast out. And then they throw and it whoop, it went out. I was free. I was able to, I went to go, to wash myself, to cleanse myself, everything. I was baptized in the ocean in Bicol, in a place called Pasacao Camorenes Sur. That same day, I went to go get baptized in the ocean and come out. And at that time, they said that he said that Yah said he told me then. I asked him why you did that one. He said because the scripture's written. He said that I winked at your ignorance. At your ignorance. So I allowed that name to be used for the case for you to be, because I didn't know he's the name of Yahushua and Yahweh, but they were calling God, Jesus, all of that one, but he allowed it for my sake. And he told me later on, because I was wondering, why did you do that, this one. So, and then within 2.5 weeks later, I began to, I didn't know how to pray very well, but I prayed and it was in, I got a at a boarding house. I got a room there and I wanted to be there. I didn't want to be on the barracks anymore. I can just go in and report, and to do things and that's the options for an officer at the time. So I can do it. So, and I was getting more peace. And while I was in that room, I prayed and I prayed and I said, and the first thing I said, I want to see you. I want to see you.
Wow.
And at that time I was just like a child. I prayed like a child. I didn't know how to pray. I said, I just want to see you. And I opened my eyes, one eye, one looking around, maybe he'll pop up, and I didn't see him. So I went, yeah, it's okay, it's okay. I still believe, like that one. So then I got into the bed and put the Colombo, mosquito net on. That one, because it's in Bicol, there are many mosquitoes up there, where we were at. And so I was sleeping and suddenly I woke up and there was a presence on the outside of the room at the door, behind the door. But I knew it was evil, pure evil. And I can see the door was stretching, like hands was like want to get in, trying to get in. and 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 then I was like, I was afraid at first. And I'm not afraid of no man. But this entity was and I knew it was the one. He went and got more of them. It said that the scripture says that when he for wandering around in the wilderness, he couldn't
Bring back,
find a new house, so he wanted to come back with
7.
seven.
With
Yeah,
7,
with
yeah.
7 times more. And I knew that this, whatever it was stronger than the one that was what, and it was trying to get in with it, and I can hear it cursing. And I don't want to say the words it said and things it wanted to do to me, and it was growling like a dog, like a wolf or a dog, like and all of this when you can hear them, all the many voices, like legions of voices speaking out of it at the same time, and then there and because of many the house I was at, they were Catholic there, and they had the crucifix on the door over there and all
Oh.
that. And I'm thinking maybe the crucifix is holding it back. I don't know. I'm thinking movie or something. I don't know what's going on with that. But it couldn't get in. And something told me, do not be afraid. And something bold came over me, and I said, go away. I just said, go away, just like that. Get out of here. I don't want you. And it stopped immediately, and the door
Wow.
became normal, and the presence went. And then suddenly I was overcome with sleep, and I went to sleep, and then I don't know how long I was asleep, but I know I had peace, and then I heard a voice, and it called me, and first called me by my Western name, and then called me Yahukhanan. And when he called me by my Hebrew name, my eyes popped open. And I sat up on the bed. I looked, the whole entire room was illuminated. It was so beautiful, a living light. That's all I know. It was called a living light. It looked like it was like a mist moving, and you can touch it. And the mist came over me, it came around me and squeezed me, just hugged me.
Mm.
And I felt so much achava, love. I needed it. That's the first thing I needed. And when I it began to just give me so much peace. I felt like tears just flowing from me because I was so tired. I was so tired. And it came again and did it 3 times. Like it was preparing me for something, and would just squeeze and hold. And I felt like I felt like a child being held by his father. That's what I felt. And then I heard a voice said, all things will be all right.
Mm.
It's going to be all right. And that voice began to sing. Everything's going to be all right, almost like reggae. And I
Wow.
was like, that was crazy. It was just singing. It was singing, and it was singing and more. And then the light, that whole mist moved away from me and went in front of the front part of the bed, the foot end of the bed. So I thought it's going to come back. It didn't. I was put my hand out, please come back. And then immediately it changed to a fire,
Wow.
a flame, and it began to spin like a whirlwind, like a tornado. Began to spin, and it spun and it spun and it spun. And immediately I got on my knees and my hands in front of it on the bed like this, and I started breathing. I was panting like a woman was going to give birth.
Mm.
They're like, and I know I was about to expect something, and I began to get hot. I just started, sweat was just running off. I was so hot. I looked around with my eyes, and things were steaming like it was going to go up in flames. And I said, the whole place is going to burn. I don't care. Go and burn up. I don't care. I'm not going anywhere. I
Mm.
wasn't afraid. And then it began to get brighter and brighter. And then my mind, it's going to explode. It's going to explode. And then it went, it glowed. And I put my hands up, like this, like I thought, like, how it's a natural reaction, right? A natural reaction that would happen. So, and then when it did that, the everything split open to like a dimension. It split open, poof, open, and when it split open, Yahusha walked right through.
Wow.
He
Yadah.
came right through. He
Yadah.
wanted to come in. He wanted to come in with power to show me. And when he came out when his arms came out like this, and that one, and I saw here there was like gold shimmering, just gold, because like it was kind of warped out because of where he was crucified and was warped out, but it was right. It was beautiful. It was gold shimmering, gold like that one. I saw it, and I saw his clothing was so beautiful. It was array of white. I was only, but it's living. It's living colors. That's all. And the golden girdle on him, and all of this one, he was in all full majesty, and the light was like bright like the sun, bright. It was like I had to turn it. Ooh, it was so good. Like this one, and it was there, and I saw the hair that it was a fro, it was an afro. It was white, snowy white, and he said, and I saw his color. And I saw the color of his arms and everything. It was same as me. And
Mm.
he said, and he told me, he said, Shalom.
Wow.
He said to me, Shalom. And when he said that, it went into my mouth and went down in the deep of me, because he wasn't talking to this me. He was talking to the spirit me. And when he did that, I can hear the shalom down here, like a shalom, 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 like it was looking shalom, 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 like it was renewing something. And then it came back up. And when it came back up, I was like, oh, I'm gonna vomit. I felt like, at first it felt like, what? Like that. That when it came out, I went, Yahusha.
Oh.
That's what came out. And then he said, Anoni, I am.
Mm.
And
That's a
then
Hebrew word,
me,
Anoni.
yes, here I am. That means that here am I.
Oh.
Anoni, here am I. And when he said Anoni, immediately it was the glory, the kabod was too powerful for me. And I was like stuck like that. I don't boom, back. I just went back because he had displayed the full majesty and the full power of Abba YAHUAH put upon him, bestowed on purpose to let him know that all power has been given unto me. I'm the true lion within Yahudah. I am. So, and I went down and I began to die.
Mhm.
I was dying. And I was giving death breaths. It was like, just breathing like I was dying. I was dying, like panting. And I couldn't move. And the tears were flowing from my eyes. But I didn't care. I wanted to go. I'm going with him. And I said, I'm dying. I said that in my mind. I couldn't talk. So I said, I'm dying. And when I said I'm dying, Now, when I said I'm dying, he spoke within my spirit. Immediately, he knew. And I heard his voice. He said, good, I want you dead. You know, and it means to die, cleanse, to die to this world. I knew what he meant. And then he walked around, and while he was walking around, and I'm struggling to breathe, I said, you better hurry up because I'm about to leave. I can't do this no more. I'm going. I was just fighting, trying to stay alive. As he was getting closer, the kabod was getting more powerful. And then I heard in my ruach, so they said, for the word of Yah is clean.
Mm.
Because I wasn't clean. And I kept saying, unclean, 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 unclean. But he came to clean me. And he came over and he touched me on the shoulder. He pushed me over and I lay on my back. And then he showed, and I saw the light. It didn't hurt, but it was bright. And the light went whoop, left. And I saw his face. And when I looked upon him, and I saw a brother, and he smiled at me like, hello, like that one. But his eyes was like flames, and my eyes went directly into his eyes, drawn into him, and I saw the power of Yah through his eyes. And I was terrified. I was terrified, but I was in love all at the same time. So in love, a love beyond understanding.
Mm.
But I was terrified because I like he could just say the word and I'd be the enemy, and all of this one and all the thinking. And it was just this, but then I was drawn into his eyes and he showed me as I was developing in my mother's womb.
Mm.
And millions of voices were speaking on me, prophesying on me, wonderful things that Yah had prophesied and all this one. And I at that time I just felt like I was garbage, I was trash, I was nothing, I was a failure, blah, blah, blah. But he says, no, you are my beloved. You are my chosen. I've known you before you were in your mother's womb. I've known you. I've destined you and purposed you for the purposes and for my will. And I heard all these voices, millions of them, but I knew I could hear them all and know them all. And then he drew me back. I was back in, and I saw his face again, and I was in awe, like, brother, And he said to me, he says, Ani ahava achi. I love you, brother.
Oh, Ani Ahaba. Mm.
And And then I wanted to say something, but I couldn't. I was in, the pain was going away, the pain, and I just felt, nobody loves me. I said, and he put his hand on my forehead, and like a iron, you say, and then I feel it like a plancha. It burned. It burned. I felt the pain, but it was good. It was and things were sucking out of my mind, all the poison, all the lies, you know, and all those lies, everything was being removed. And when he finished with me, I said, please take it all. I don't want no more. And then he allowed me to cry, but it was a cry of freedom, liberty. And and he says, and he put his hands on mine, wiped away my tears. And he said, are you ready? And then I said, ready for what? And he looked to the left and the right, like he's looking at someone. I said, who is he looking at? Like he had somebody there to do something, I don't know. And then he got to me, he went, "Ooh." He blew on me. And when he blew on me, I went, poof. I left my body so like that. I just, and I learned that, dying is just like taking off those clothes and going and changing into another. And I was left and I was more alive than ever. And I was sucked out. I saw the house, I saw that one, then I saw the island, then I saw the globe of that one, and I was shot out and I could see the stars shooting through. But yet I knew I thought in my natural, I said, we're moving so fast. But in my spirit said, no, we're moving really slow. We can get to where we are like that. But you're getting a tour. Because when you were a child, you always wanted to see space. I wanted to be an astronaut. I wanted to see those things. And they knew that. And Abba YAHUAH knew that. And Yahusha knew that. How do they know that? And I get to see the beautiful. I saw stars. I saw planets. I saw, yeah, and it was there. It was beautiful. And I'm thinking, oh yes, yes, I'm going. Yeah, and then all of a sudden I see something coming up and it's bright bold. And I thought, oh no, it's the sun. I'm going, they're taking me to hell. I'm going to infierno. These things are taking me. And I started to panic a little bit because you're in the spirit, man. Everything multiplies 1,000 times. So the fear began to multiply. And immediately I heard laughter. Who's laughing? And I look and these balls, I know they're angels pulling me, they're laughing at me because they know what I'm thinking. They think I'm like, what are you laughing at? This ain't funny, you know? You're not the one. And so I begin to try to repent. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And the angel spoke and said, peace be unto you. It is all right. And then immediately it's like a covering came over me. And I just went, yes, yes, yes. And I went in that looked like a planet at first, and it went into the ball, whoop, and it was all white at first, and I could see me, but it's all white, and I knew I landed. I felt I'm landed. I can feel my feet on some surface, and immediately the mist moved away, and what I saw was so beautiful. I saw beautiful mountains and trees that we don't even have on this planet. Leaves, some of the leaves are so big. All that when the leaves shimmer, they make music. They make music tones, like the what do you call the chimes and stuff. It was beautiful. I heard worship and praise in the air, in the atmosphere. I said, and I could hear the praises and worship and all of this one, and and it was not noisy. It wasn't nothing, but it was just so beautiful. And and I was like, wow, look at this. And I was in awe. And I looked at my clothing. My clothing was so beautiful, something that I would love, a two-piece. It was like a beautiful shirt with the tie strings on it and long and with a slit down the middle of the sleeve. And this one, it was just so beautiful, things I would love to wear. And I heard a voice and said, do you know where you are? And I said, yes. He said, where are you? And I said, I'm home. And when I
Mm.
said, I'm home, I heard laughter and said, welcome home.
Wow.
And I said, woohoo! And I ran on the valley. It was a beautiful valley of grass. It was a valley of hill. I ran and I jumped in the air and I tumbled in the air and landed on my feet, and I heard more laughter there, just laughing, and it wasn't laughing at me, but laughing with me, and it was joy. And you know what I said? I'm dead. I don't have to go back to that stinking earth no more. I'm good. I don't have to, I'm thinking in my mind, you know, and
Mm.
all of this one. And they were just laughing with me. But then I got a tour to touch things, to have the fruit, taste of fruit, and what the fruit would do. The tree, I mean, the tree was so beautiful, and it said, take the fruit. I took off a fruit, another fruit just went boop, pop right on there. And I was like, look at that. And he said, and I tasted it, and it was so, I mean, it was the taste of mango, pakwa, and everything, you name it, all this one, and even fruits, all at the same time. All at the same time. It was so good, so refreshing. But the thing is, and then they asked me, "Do you need to have this? Do you need to eat to live?" And yeah, I went, "No." And even basic things. I was thinking, I don't have to go to the bathroom. I don't have to, things like that one. Um, this one I just enjoy. And he told me to drop the fruit. I dropped the fruit, and it went down to the ground, and doop, it was gone. You know, and I was like, huh? Because nothing gets wasted. You don't have no rubbish anywhere, nothing like that. And the juice came down on my arm and went into my body, went into my skin, and then I smelled like the perfume of the fruit.
Wow.
It was like cologne.
Mm.
You want some cologne? Just grab it and just whoop, and you got cologne. You want perfume? Touch a flower. All of this one. Yes. You smell, you touch, you see the rose, you touch the rose, you smell like the rose. Whatever you touch, you know, that's what you're gonna be, that's the fragrance that's gonna be on you. And all of this one, so I'm like, wow, this is so beautiful. This is so beautiful. And then I looked at the grass and it was shimmering. And I looked, why is it shimmering? And he said, look at the grass, take a piece. So I took a piece off and I looked and there were diamonds, diamonds. There were
Mm.
diamonds in the grass, not on it, but like you're on it and fall off, but it was in it. Diamonds in the grass. I'm like, wow, look at this. And I looked at it, and my eyes became like a microscope. And I can see the diamond, I can see the dimensions. I knew the mathematical dimensions. I was like super intelligent, super intelligent. And I said, this is so beautiful. I was so I was just so in awe. And he said, he said, drop the grass. I dropped it, and it just went, doop. It went right back. And so I was shocked. And then I heard somebody said, nothing dies here because death is illegal.
Oh.
See, and I learned about the kingdom. The kingdom has laws, and what's legal and what's illegal.
Mm.
There is no death. There's no sickness. There's no depression. There's
Mm.
no sorrow. These are all illegal. That makes sense, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
So all these things came to me. And then I was able, and I said, but I thought of the holy city because I knew I was not in the holy city. And he said, look, and I knew immediately a holy city, and I looked to my right, and I knew where it was. I knew the coordinates. I mean, even the mathematical coordinates, what distance it was at. I just knew. So I said, I want to go there. And I thought there, and immediately I was there,
Mm.
like transported there immediately.
You spoke the word and you were,
And
wow.
yes, and then immediately I was standing before the gate of pearl, the pearl gate. I didn't know, now I didn't study the word, I didn't know it, but I just knew there are 12 gates. Each gate has an angel on the gate. Each shall go according to the tribe of Yisrael, go into the gates. In there. And I would see and look, and each one would have something on them. And what they would carry is they would have a chain on them, each one of them, and they would have there would be a stone
Okay. Can
like
I show
this.
that, brother?
Yes, I will show that one there. And this
Okay.
stone,
Oh.
and they would have a stone, and each one of the stones on the 12 tribes of Israel, Yisrael.
Hmm.
They would have the 12, and each one would have a stone. And and they would know which gate to go in to enter into there. And now by the gate there was an angel, and that angel was at least about 15, 16 feet in height. And he had a sword. And that angel, I was a little bit nervous, that angel, and the angel was, and I looked, the angel was the same color as me. He had long dreads, you know, very handsome, you know, and very bold. And he was looking straight ahead. But then he saw me, and he put his hand on it, and he bowed.
Hmm.
And so I was nervous, so I said, I don't know the protocol. So I bow back, just I don't want to make him angry, Yeah, you better bow or something. So, and I stood there, and the gate was moving, the pearl was moving in this like around, round, round, and all of the shimmering, like the what's it called, that the mother of pearl, how it shimmers when the pearl moves on the shell of the clam, the mother of pearl. They call that with a beautiful like bluish greenish, and all that was beautiful, and it was turning and it was rolling, very smooth. Um, I heard in the distance. I saw this man coming, and it was another angel with him, and that angel was about maybe like about 8 feet, 7, 8 feet tall angel that was with him. And he was just talking. He was so excited and all of that. When and the angel was looking at him and wasn't talking a little bit. He'd talk a little bit and would shake his head and smile and everything like that. And and then I saw him and I knew exactly his name. And he has the same name as me, Yahukhanan, this man, and everything. And I knew so much. And he just died. And all of that, no, I knew he died. And he was all excited and talking to him. And I knew what was in the bag. Because the angel had a satchel on him on his left side. And then it had a crown in it and all that. Well, it was a crown for him. But he was to be given the crown to be put on him there when he goes in. It would be the father, Abba YAHUAH, who will put the crown on his head.
Hmm.
And he came to me and he said, "Oh, how are you? We have the same name." I said, "Yeah, we have the same name." And we talked a little bit and everything. He said, "I died." I said, "Yeah, I know." And I mean,
Hmm.
this when we were, talking like children, just quickly. And then the angels kept, "We must go now." And he told Yahukhanan, "It is good seeing you." He said to me, the angel said that to me. And says, "Good seeing you, brother." I call him brother. I'm like, "Oh, this angel brother." I don't know his
Hmm.
name. And so I just said, "Brother," and I'm thinking, "Wow, this is crazy." So they went up, and he told him to wait. He walked up to the pearl gate, and it didn't open. And he looked at us, and like that one, like it's not opening. And he did something, and they did it because people think that angels don't have a sense of humor. They do.
Hmm.
They're very funny sometimes. And he took out a feather. It was a beautiful feather. And he did like this to the gate. And the gate began to laugh.
Hmm.
And it brought that joy on us, so we started laughing, joyful. And then the gate opened up. It pearl and moved. And then I was able to see into the city. And I saw like glass. The road was like it was so smooth. The gold, it was so smooth, like glass. there, and you can see as far as it would like look like towers, beautiful towers, and then like crystalline towers and all that. We could see things moving around, almost like little egg. They were like transports. But people think that there's no transportation, transport. You can see, and I can see there moving around, and I can see lights moving, little lights, and I knew that were people. They were the people, and there, and all that was beautiful. It was so beautiful. And I wanted to go in so bad. But I just knew that I only came to see. I had more to see. And I stood there and he came up and he told him, come, Yahukhanan. He called him. He came up and he said, I see you soon, brother. I said, yeah, I'll see you too. And we did that one. And then the angel went like this to me and did this to me. And I did back. And I was tempted, almost something, in my part of my body wants to cry, but nothing was forbidding me to cry because it said that's illegal. He said, no, 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 that's illegal. I heard it too. That's illegal. Then it will replace with joy even more. And then I saw it, and then the gate shut. And I looked at the angel again one time, and he looked at me and smiled. That big angel, guardian angel. And then I was brought back to where I was. And when I was brought back to where I was met by Yahusha. He was there. And I came on my knees. I fell on my knees before him. And I held him, And he put his hand on my head. He said, I love you so much, brother. And he told me, he said, you have to go back now. And I said, please, I don't want to go back there. Please let me stay here with you. Please. He said, no, but you'll be back again, and I'll let you come back to see. And you will see what you see, you will report what you see. You'll go into the city, you'll be allowed into the city and report what you see. But it is imperative that you go back. You will be my voice. And like many of your brothers and sisters have been chosen to do so. So I really protested. I said, I really don't want to go. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I don't want to go back. I'm tired. I'm so tired. And I beg. He was very patient. I mean, like a big brother. He just, how your little brother, you cry, and the little big brother like, Tamana, kind of like that, And so he wasn't getting irritated or nothing. But the angels, it were two angels with him. They were laughing. I'm like, what are you laughing at? It's not funny. Because you get to stay here. I don't, I was a little bit upset, And he says, you must go. But I said, I will be with you. Don't worry. And he touched me with my heart, and he blew, and I began to draw back. I was like, no, 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 and I was saying no, and next thing you know, whoop, I was back in my body, and I was standing in the bed. I was standing in the Colombo was pushed on my head, and I jumped out, and I got out, and I got on the floor, and I balled up like a child, and I wept. I wept. I cried so hard. I just balled up, in a fetal position. And I said, why? Why? I don't want to be here no more. And he touched me, because once you have experienced that, you become different. Things are
Oh.
different. And that's all I can say. Things are different. You can eat food and say, food doesn't taste like it tastes in the place of where Yah is. The air doesn't smell like it. You'll be weird. People think you're weird. All those things. And so when I was in there, I was balled up, and then I felt a touch and a holding me. It was taking away that part of where I won't be like off in a way, that way where it can be back to normal, where I can tolerate everything on the planet Earth more like. And then after that, he said, he spoke. He said, "I love you. I will never leave you, and I will not forsake you. You're my beloved brother. You're my brother." And then after that, he said, "I leave something to you." And I felt the warmth over me. That's when I was completely filled, with the Ruach, and I began to have dreams. I could dream, I can prophesy afterward. I was able to prophesy. I knew people's lives. I knew these things. I learned, I knew how to play the piano. I can play flutes. I have so many flutes here. I can play flutes.
Wow.
My voice singing, a psalmist, new songs coming out, everything. This was just things that are gifts that would be just downloaded into me. I was just downloaded, and I was like, wow. And then even more, the discipline to follow Yah. And the things that I used to do, or the way I used to talk, I couldn't do it anymore. Couldn't do it anymore. A curse word or anything, nothing could come out from my mouth. I didn't do much of any cursing anyway, but the thing is that when I did, it was bad. But then nothing but, nothing, no curse words, no, all that one. And I became a new creation. And it took time. Yah was developing me until now, where I'm at. And so now Yah has given me and showed me that a heart for Philippines. And he showed me the name of the ministry and the name of the place that will be created there in the Philippines. He said, and Yahuwah is my righteousness. That's what he said. Yahuwah is my righteousness sanctuary. And you will build it there in the Philippines. And, we are doing, Yah is opening up a financial blessing right now, all the way from Africa. Because after that, he had me, I traveled all over the world after that, and showed me many things, and I was able to talk to many and pray with many. But Abba YAHUAH now, by his will, he's doing a wonderful thing from Africa that I and the group, our people, my people, will be working with so much gold there in Africa. And we'll even bring gold in the Philippines and things, but it's not for financial purposes for our own, but it's to utilize for that place, because the end time has come. And he said, this is the end time, and I'm using you and others like you all over. So, and I saw the Philippines as a beacon. Yahshua, that is one of the beacons of light that he's been using, that want to touch for so long. The enemy knew that. That's why he tried to destroy you in the Philippines. He showed me that. And that's why he brought in the Japanese in the time of, and to try to destroy and kill the, Filipinos at that time, and even more because of his hatred. because he sees there, and he brought forth many occultic confusion religions all over, yeah, and bringing it in. You notice one thing: of all nations I've been to, I've learned many languages. Chinese, I can speak Nihongo wakarimasu. I can speak Japanese fluent. I can speak Chinese fluent. Of course, I speak Hebrew. But there's things is all the nations of Asia I've been to, all across Asia, no nation has the enemy so hate and go after. The Philippines is the one.
Oh.
Because it's a beacon of light for all of the Asia. And Yah showed me truly the pearl of Asia. He says, but the pearl has been tarnished with soot and dirt and filth because of all of the attacks of the enemy from the false religions, the occults, from corruption and the foundation of corruption of the government. That's because of the enemy has caused that one. From the assault of the LGBTQ, whatever, what I mean, baklal, tomboys, all of that one, and this flooding, where all this poison has come. And I said the reason why is because the enemy afraid. It's afraid of the Philippines. It's a beacon of light for all of Asia. Yeah. But what Yah does, the enemy can't stop anyway. Yeah, he can't stop it. He cannot stop it. So, and as one thing about it, you can change your name, you can change all that one, but you can't change prophecy. When Yah said he's going to do a thing, it's going to happen. And and because of that, Yah has brought forth a beacon of light now in the Great Awakening. So in 2015, on the Sukkot of 2015, there was what we call the Tetraiod, the 4 blood moons. That's when it happened, 2015. In 2015 was a great awakening for the children of Yisrael, the true children of Yisrael. Now, you notice I said the true children of Yisrael, not just Jewish. I'm not saying Jewish. Nation, the nation of the nation of Israel. The state of Israel. None of that one. I'm saying the true Israelites. The great awakening happened at that time, and Yah sent me and told me to go to Yisrael and to Jerusalem at that time. And at that time, I was in Japan, and I said, "Oh, I'm doing some work there, and I have my home there because I have a home there." And I said, "I'm not. I'm not. I don't have any money. I'm that one. I've spent everything on this thing. I don't have any money. Yeah, you want me to go to?" I said, "Well, let your will be done. If this is your will." And then the next day, I got a call from some people who I knew, and they said, "I don't know. Yah's giving me. You need to go to Israel. Blah 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 blah." I was like, "Woo!" And we want to buy your ticket. We're gonna pay for everything. We're gonna give you this much money and all that one and all that one. I had like $5,000 to spend, and all that they gave. I mean, just it was so much. And I went and I spent the Sukkot with my family there in Israel, there in Abu Ghosh. Abu Ghosh is about maybe 30 minutes from Jerusalem. And I went there, and then I went to Haifa, to other cousin in Haifa, and then to Ashkelon, to the north of Ashkelon. And I spent the time with the family. I'm like, you called me to come here to spend time with the family? I don't know, to that one. But on the 7th day of the Sukkot, on the 7th day, I was asleep, and I was aroused from my sleep and told me, get up. I will speak to you. Go out. So I went out and I went up to the top mountain, and where we lived, we lived down the part, and if you know Israel, it's mountains, kind of hilly there. And we went up. I had to walk up the hill past a Catholic, there's a Catholic church up there. Yeah, they they have to, because believe it or not, the Pope gives permission to do things more than anything else over there. And so I went up and I went all the way to the top